45 podiums, right? In your whole
Yes,
running career.
right.
Literally, you get podium everywhere that you went. People say that, okay, Bindu is in the race, she would get a podium.
I was physically very active, but that I was not into any sports. One of my friends asked me to participate in a 5K event, and I was like, the first thing I spelled out was, "Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? You think I can run like that?" So I ran 5K, and I discovered my love for distance running. Running comes naturally to me, it's something that I love doing it. So if I determine to do something, yeah, then no one can stop me,
As they say, runners are not normal people, any which ways. Right?
Even otherwise, I'm not bothered about people at all. Some people they call me bindas also, and I'm just not bothered about who's doing what.
Behind every success lies so much of failure, which people don't see. Hi everyone, this is Meenal here and welcome to my channel. I know I was long gone for a very long time, but I'm back with a banger interview. Before I talk about that, a little bit about myself. I'm Meenal and I interview ultra running women in India. And I have with me a very special guest today, Bindu Juneja. So she's done numerous runs, and just to list out few of her achievements, she's represented Karnataka in national running. She's done Comrades and she finished within 10 hours. She's done 100 kilometers Malnad trail run. She's done 12-hour stadium runs. She did it twice and she was also a podium finisher in that. She's participated in 24 hours run 5 times. She's done 100 miles 3 times. And the maximum she's covered in 24-hour run is 176.6 kilometers. And if that is not enough, she also finished 100 miles distance in 16 days, where she averaged out running daily around 50 kilometers. So she's done numerous ultra runs and numerous marathons, numerous races altogether. I think the list is really long. Let's hear straight from Bindu. Bindu, very warm welcome. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself first before we jump into the running part?
Hi, Binal. Thank you so much for having me here. My name is Bindu Juneja. I work as a teacher, and uh, yeah, I have two teenage boys and a mother of two teenage boys. Yeah.
Oh, nice. You don't look like, but wonderful to know. Okay. Bindu, can you take us to your childhood? Were you always active physically? Did you used to play any sports, yoga, or anything like that before you started this running?
Yes, I was physically very active, but that I was not into any sports. I was more of into drama and or uh, other class activities. Yeah, that's
Okay. So, Bindu, how did this running journey started? First of all, when did it start and how did you start running altogether?
okay. So my running journey started way back in 2015. Uh, and it's a very interesting chapter in my life. It's all started when I participated in a 2K run organized by my school. It turned out to be an excellent event, and I clinched, first position, and I set a new course record over there. So that's how it started. That was the beginning.
In the same school where you teach, is it?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, wonderful. I'm sure it must be a treat for the children to see you running and then of course winning it also and setting a course record.
I guess so.
Wonderful. I like. So Bindu, now 2 kilometers, right? And then from 2 kilometers, how did you increase the distance? Why? First of all, why did you increase the distance? Was it for weight loss, or what was the reason for getting into running from 2K to probably way too much? But yeah, let's talk about 2K to half marathon or full marathon. How did that journey happen?
So after 2K, that was it. I didn't want to run, so I closed the chapter over there. So, but then a few months later, one of my friends asked me to participate in a 5K event, and I was like, the first thing I spelled out was, "Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? You think I can run like that?" But anyways, yeah. So I ended up registering for that event, and that 5K event was the game changer. So I ran 5K, and I discovered my love for distance running. I felt, throughout, I just felt that, there was a thrill. The thrill was to, chase the distance, not focusing on the time. So that is how it has started. From there, no, I kept chasing the limits. I just kept chasing the distance, 5K, 10K, 21, 42. Yeah. Yeah. It just went on like that.
So, Bindu, I want to ask, first of all, for 5 kilometers, did you prepare anything? That's my first question. And secondly, generally, the first 5 kilometers is tough for people. Was it not tough for you, as you were saying that you thoroughly enjoyed it? Or how was it?
Yeah, it wasn't. You wouldn't believe if I say it was. I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't tough at all, and I thoroughly enjoyed. I really enjoyed the distance, and I feel running comes naturally to me. Like, it's something that I love doing it.
Okay. So, Bindu, now in September, probably, or in 2015, you must have done your 5 kilometers. Am I right?
No, 2015 October.
Yeah, okay. 2015 October. Then, Bindu,
Mm.
when did you do your first full marathon? How was that? Because 5 kilometers is something else, then doing a
Yeah,
full
yeah,
marathon is something else.
yeah. So the next event, I did one 10K, TCS 10K. That was 2016. Then a couple of 10Ks, then that ended up with the 21K. And towards the end, I think, mm, if I'm right, 2016, I did my first marathon. October, yeah, within 1 year. Like, 2015 I started, and 2016, yeah. So I did my first marathon, yeah.
And what was your timing, if you roughly remember, for first full marathon?
Yeah, so it was 4 hours, 19 minutes. Yeah, I still remember.
So, Bindu, were you coached by someone? How could you, just do 4 hours, 19 minutes, having not trained like by any professional coach or not having any background into fitness otherwise, right? How
Yeah.
how did that happen?
If you ask me, I don't have an answer for that. I don't know. I wanted to do it. I was so determined to chase that distance. The first thing is, like, I just said I want to run 42 kilometers. So for that, what is the next option? Like, no, what is the next step? Like, not option yet. What's the next step? So the next step is, yeah, you have to train. So I knew that I don't have that kind of time, like, because I teach in a school, like, and I really don't have time for, taking out, 1 hour or 2 hours for marathon train. I mean, marathon training. But anyways, like, I somehow try to fit in some small runs, and, some big runs. And eventually I ended up doing this, 42K.
You sounded very easy. You made it look very easy. It is in fact not, but you made it. So probably, Bindu,
No,
would it be?
probably I am very. The other thing, Meenal, I'm so sorry to say this. Another thing about me is I'm a go-getter. Like, if I put my heart and soul into something, like, I will make that happen. That I'm a kind of person like that. So yeah, so that could be one of the reason. Like, so if I determine to do something, yeah, then no one can stop me. Like,
I can clearly see that. I can. Okay. So Bindu, now because having done the full marathon, uh, first of all, what was your? Did you make any strategy because you were not coached by someone? And I'm sure you would not have too many friends in the running unit also because it was just within 1 year you did it your first full marathon. So, how was your hydration during that run, or what did you eat? Did you plan anything? Can you talk us a little bit about that?
frankly speaking, I didn't know anything about the hydration part. Like, I just knew that I have to complete this distance. So I have to just, I had a cup of coffee before the run. That's all I remember, because I'm a coffee addict. So I drank a cup of coffee, and I kept running, and I felt so good, so good. But it hit me after 32 kilometers. It started hitting me, like, I'm like, oh. So then someone, I think another, fellow runner, from behind, he said, ma'am, you are running very strong. Don't, give up. So that's when I started pushing, and yeah, I don't know. I somehow finished it.
And you did not eat anything in your first full
No,
marathon.
absolutely nothing. I didn't know anything about gel. I didn't know that how much water you should take. I didn't know about salt tablets. I didn't know. I had absolutely no idea about all these things. Yeah.
I mean, then would it be right to say that running is just your calling,
Yes. Absolutely.
right? Okay. So, Bindu, from that now, having done a full marathon, which probably is huge in 2016, if we talk about, we're talking about quite a long back, right? Now, how did you know about ultra running and how did you think about, running ultra marathons altogether?
So as I told you, like my main objective or the goal was to chase the distance. So I first I did 2K, then 5K, 10K, 21. I started upgrading myself like that. So I just kept looking what is the next distance. Like, after 42, I was like, now I have to just try for the next, what is the next thing? So that is 50K. Yeah. So I said, I'm
Mhm.
going to do this 50K. So I just kept chasing the distance, like, with that unconditional love for it, I can say that, I somehow get the kick.
Okay. And appreciation too from everyone around for sure.
Yeah. And when you're running, so a lot of people say you're strong. And that's an amazing feeling, I just love that, when people tell you that even recently I finished TCS 10K. So somebody just after finish line, I met someone and he's like, ma'am, you were running so strong. So that's the kick, that's a feeling I can tell you.
Yeah. I think being in part of a running community does feel good because I think
Yeah,
as humans we are geared to have some kind of a group, and as children we do have friends, but as adults I think we kind of start losing out on that, and I think runners are generally very happy people because they kind of form a nice bond with each other,
true.
right? Absolutely. So then, Bindu, now after the 50K, right? Which was the next ultra run that you trained? I don't have the right order in which you did,
Mm,
but
mm.
did you do Comrades first, or how did you go about chasing the next runs?
After 50K, I did a couple of 50Ks to feel, and, a little ease at the distance. So after that, 80K, I did an 80-kilometer run, then 12 hours. So I gradually updated, step by step, So 80, then 12 hours, then 24 hours. So yeah, Comrades, I finished Comrades last year, like, 2023.
Okay, so Comrades has been pretty recent from
Yeah.
that point.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I know we're jumping the track, but okay, let's talk about pre-COVID. So, Bindu, till pre-COVID, what did you do till pre-COVID? Which was the longest run that you had done?
So yeah, so my the longest run was in 2020 February with the Tough Man, 176.6 kilometers.
Okay, that was 2019 then, right?
2020, right? 2020 February, Feb.
Oh, I was there then. I did 6 hours. Probably we didn't meet, but then we were on the same track at that time because
Oh, that's great.
just
That's
after
great.
that, I think the COVID hit around
Yes,
one
yes,
week or 10 days afterwards, right?
yes, yes.
Okay,
So
so you did.
there's a story. Yeah, sorry. There's a story behind it. Why I took up that event. My first 24 hours stadium run was in 2019. Okay, so I missed World Championship by just 1.8 kilometers, and that was so disheartening, and that was so painful. And I felt really bad. So within 6 months, I took up this Chandigarh run, like, 24-hour event. And there I clocked 176.6 kilometer and got selected to run Asia Oceania Championship. But then my hard luck, COVID hit, and COVID literally, I would say, COVID took away my opportunity.
I know we can laugh it out now, but I can understand how it must have felt back then.
Yeah, it is a really you feel really bad, like, just getting qualified, then getting selected and all. It's a tedious process, right?
Mm. I understand. And representing India is another feeling altogether. Right. But Bindu, then, you did whooping 176. Probably, I think that was a career highlight also for you from the running standpoint for you, right?
Right, right.
Then the COVID hit, everyone was back home. What did you do then when it came to your running, and how and why?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, like, I actually was that was my one of the fittest, time I could say. Like, I was in a very good shape, and after I was actually training for this Asia Oceania Championship, and that's the time that COVID hit. So I was like, what is next? What do I do now? So there was something like there was something called 500 miler, that is finishing 805 kilometers. So there was no time limit as such, but then I took it up as a challenge. Then I started chasing that event, that distance. Sorry, I started chasing that distance. Yeah.
Mhm. So then I think you ran on 60 days continuously, clocking approximately 50 kilometers each day, and
Yeah,
then finishing 805 kilometers in 16 days.
16
Right.
days. Yeah, you're right.
So, so, Bindu, first of all, can you tell what time did you use to start your run, and approximately how much time it used to take for you to finish this distance every day?
I cannot say that precisely, but then I can just give you a brief idea. Like sometimes 1 a.m., 1 a.m. when I say midnight. Yeah, sometimes I used to run in the early morning, like 3 o'clock. I start, or sometimes in the evenings. So there was no. I completely dedicated myself for this run, and I just went crazy. I wanted to. I was just getting stronger and stronger day by day, like So I don't know. There was a kind of madness. I don't know. I just chased the distance. That's it. And I felt really, really good doing that. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. Probably people will understand that or not, but I just get the thrill. I still feel so good, and I
It
don't
gives
know
you
whether I
that
can do
high.
it right now. I really don't know whether I can do it right now. So yeah, so that kind of fitness I had those days, and yeah,
Mhm.
surprising.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Bindu, now, first of all, 1 a.m., 3 a.m., of course, normal people don't do that. But as they say, runners are not normal people, any which ways. Right? Correct. So, now, after having finished this 805 kilometers, what was next? You had achieved a lot, right? What was next?
So unfortunately, uh, I got injured. After this run, I was actually so next event was like I wanted to do 24 hours, like so I started training for that. I really worked. Apparently, I worked really hard for this event. Okay, so um, I would tell you, just a month before the event, I got injured. So the feeling was like I felt like my dreams were shattered, and as if someone had thrown me, under the bus, or pushed me off a cliff. It was very, very disheartening, and I just felt really, really bad. I don't know how to express this. I was feeling really, really bad, and it was like you can see the finish line, and you kind of stumbled and you fell. You understood what I'm saying? It's like
Mhm.
you tripped off, and um, you tripped off before the final sprint. You say that way, it's like tripping off before the final sprint. It
You
was
were just there, but at the same time, you were not there.
yes,
Right.
yes,
So, Bindu, I understand now. Till this point, you have never had coaching. Everything that you did by yourself. Am I
yeah,
right?
yeah, yes,
Okay.
correct,
And
absolutely right.
which approximate month was that when you got injured?
See, I can say that this injury that stayed, it was a multiple injury. I had SI joint, groin, and I had um, um, IT band, and hip flexors. My right leg, I just couldn't move. So I have multiple injuries together. And it took almost 1 year to even recover that pain. I had chronic pain. To recover the
Mhm.
pain, it took 1 year.
So you could
So
not
it was
run for 1 year.
uh, I did run. I mean, I dragged myself and I walked a bit, but it was sad. Like, I was just crying all the time. Like, I don't know, like it was a very bad time. 2021, yeah.
Okay, 2021. Very painful. Okay, Bindu, now, because of course, I totally understand uh, how injury works. First, what went into the mind, or how did you come back? You are a strong runner. We see all the glory posts, you receiving awards everywhere. How did the comeback happen?
So, yeah, so a very interesting story. This is like, I went to my physio, and I kind of, I still remember sitting in front of him and I crying, like, so I just kept telling, I want to come back, I want to come back, just, help me. Like, these are the words, like, exactly. I was just talking to the physios, and he looked at me and he said, are you willing to start from scratch? So I just looked at him in a disbelief. I like looked at him and I said, what is he saying? Like, I'm asking him to help me out, and he's telling, like, are you willing to start from scratch? Then he
No, but he
explained.
didn't know. Bindu, he didn't know that he's talking to someone who would have represented India had not there been COVID. So he didn't know that.
So
Sorry.
he, so he explained to me very beautifully, and he said, you reached the threshold, okay? So, and you could not stay or sustain there for a long time. Now you relapse. You have fallen, like, you have relapsed, okay? So now it is up to you. You have two options, he said. So first option is quit, leave it,
Easy.
or start from the beginning. So that's the time I just looked at him and I said, yes, I will. So I knew I had to keep my running egos aside and I had to start from the beginning.
Mhm.
That was the right decision that I took. And I knew that I need a lot of patience. And I may not be able to run a 10K in 50 minutes or something like that, So to get to that point, I need to work really hard. Like, running 10K, 47 minutes and all, like just before the injury. Like, so then if I have to come back to that 47, I have to again start from the beginning. I was ready to do that. I think that is a success behind it.
Mhm. And Bindu, somewhere, for some time at least your ego does take a hit, right? Because the same distance you were able to do in lesser time, but now it will take longer time. And we all have that fear. What will people think? Did you also feel that?
See, when you're injured and you can't even run a 2 kilometer or 10 kilometer, all these things are immaterial than what people think.
Mhm.
You will only just, you keep praying to God that, God, please just let me run at least, let me run at
Mhm.
least 2 kilometer, let me run at least 10 kilometer. See, for me, even otherwise, I'm not bothered about people at all. Some people, they call me bindas also, like, and I'm just not bothered about who's doing what. I don't
Mhm.
follow anybody's, the Starva or like, and I don't want to see who's doing what. I'm into myself. I don't have enough. I have only a little time, whatever left after my work. So I utilize that properly for my training. That's it. So
Mhm.
I'm not bothered about what other person is doing. So if you're working hard and doing something, it's good for you. That's it.
So after having started from scratch, Bindu, 1-2 kilometers, so how long did you stick to shorter distances, and what was the maximum that you ran during that period?
Yeah, almost a year. But towards the end, I took up 124-hour run because my heart lies over there, right? So, so, but I failed in that run. Like, I ended up, my BP went low, and I, fainted and hurt my head and my shoulders, and yeah, it was bad.
I thought when I will talk to you, it will be about celebrations, podiums, because that's what you're all about. God damn, I don't know what, 45 podiums, right? In your whole running career.
Right.
Literally, you get podium everywhere that you went. People say that, okay, Bindu is in the race, she would get a podium. And here we are talking about the failures. I think it's very, very important to highlight that behind every success lies so much of failure, which people don't see,
True.
isn't it, Bindu? But
Absolutely.
yeah, but then I think that's the beauty of talking to you. So, Bindu, now after having failed, which probably is a rare in your case, right, in a
Yes.
24-hour
Yes.
run,
Yes.
what
Yes.
was the next? I think the recently you did a Comrades as well,
Yeah,
right?
so last year I did Malnad 100K podium finish. Then I did Comrades, yeah, sub 10 finish. Then I did a couple of 42 and Procam Slam, finished with the podium. Yeah, so 8 cities I went and ran. Last year I went to 8 cities and I took podium. Wherever I ran, I finished with the podium. Yeah.
Yeah, people are afraid. Bindu is there. One podium is already, already decided. So, Bindu,
Uh,
can you talk to me about your comrades experience, which is very recent?
yeah, so Comrades, yeah, it was a very like, and I worked really hard for this event. I trained almost 2 months for this event. And I went to South Africa, and unfortunately, the very next day, I started getting IT band issues, and many people suggested me, let it be, you can do it next year. Like, it's a hill, it's a hill running, home coverage is a hill running. So you have to be, just leave it, it's okay. But then I was very determined to finish it, and yeah. Even during the race also, like, I had issues with my shafting, and my inner thighs were cut, and bleeding, and still I didn't give up. I said, I'm just not going to give up, and I've come so far, and I'm going to finish this. So that's how
How
I
far
finished.
were you when you got that bad shaffing? How far was you from the finish line?
If the first 42 kilometers I ran very, very strong, and I knew that I'm going to finish 9 hours 20 minutes. I had that target in my mind, and I knew that I could finish it. Unfortunately, after that, that I could feel the burning. Like, I literally, I stopped so many places. I stopped and I checked, and I was bleeding and burning, and then I just couldn't run. And there was a point then, I thought, should I walk and finish it? Or then I said, no, just go. Like, let's see. Like, let's finish and see. The pain, we'll take the pain later.
So, Bindu, because you did a sub 10-hour finish, which is awesome, which is a very, very good timing.
Thank you.
So how long did it take for you to recover after that comrades, which was probably hard for you otherwise?
Yeah. So, uh, especially the shopping, and that took some time, because as soon as I got back from South Africa, I had to go for job. Like, I got back to my job. So I don't get recovery. Like, that is the biggest problem I'm facing. Like, I don't get enough time for recovery. Running is okay with me. Like, after running, the recovery is very, very important, isn't it? So most of the time I work, but I'm a teacher, right? So I work on Fridays, and after that, I take a flight and go to, suppose if there's a run in Delhi, I'll reach Delhi then that day, like Friday night. And the Saturday and Sunday morning, we usually have runs, and I finish that, and immediately I get back home. And the very next day, Monday, I'm, at the school. So where is the recovery? You tell me, like, I hardly get a recovery. Time, I hardly get time to recover. So that is a biggest, issue I'm facing right now. But Comrades, yeah, it did take 15, 20 days, yeah, because with that situation, still I went to school, I took classes, I don't miss my classes. Like, I don't like it.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so that's how it is.
So, Bindu, tell me one thing now. Okay, let's come to I understand these runs are hard, right? Now, because you started running, you've been doing long distance. Of course, you have to put in the hours in training also. It's not only the events, events are just one part of it. So
Correct.
now, what is your family's reaction towards your running? Being away from the family for those, I would say, practice runs or the events runs. Is your family supportive towards that? How is it?
Yes, my family is very, very supportive, and that doesn't mean that my husband, coming and standing near the finish line with a cup of juice or something like that. Nothing like that. It's just
That
that
would be a
we,
dream.
yeah, yes, yeah, of course. But then they don't say anything because I don't know. They don't say anything to me. Like, they're
Mhm.
happy. And I believe they're happy.
Yeah, as long as I think everything else is taken care of at home, that's the support we need, right? As such.
uh, I actually don't miss out on anything, even at house friend. But I do everything.
Mhm.
So I make sure that I finish my work. Then for me, like every single day, I get up at 4 o'clock. I prepare breakfast and lunch for my children and myself. Then I go for I around 5ish. I head out for my workout.
So you cook
So
yourself at home.
so I cook for my breakfast and my children's breakfast. Yeah, I do. I've not
Mhm.
missed on that. Like yeah, it's been years and years. I'm doing the same thing.
Hats off to you, girl. Hats off to you. So, Bindu, if you can just tell us now, I think pre your injury period, that is around 2020, 21, you never hired a coach. You were just training by yourself. But post that, you started working out. What change basically did you do post the injury period, or what you do learn from injury and did differently post the injury period?
So yeah. So for the past 7 years, I didn't have a coach. So I achieved a lot on my own. But then after the injury, I was just I wanted to come back stronger. So that's the reason I looked for a coach. So uh, I've come to understand the value of having support, guidance, and expertise. So that's the reason, um, I look for a coach. Like, yeah, I do have one right now.
And then, Bindu, coming back to let's talk about the nutrition aspect.
Mm.
If you are comfortable sharing, can you let us know whether you are a vegetarian, non vegetarian, or an vegetarian, as people say these days? And also, do you take these protein powders, gels? What is your take on that?
All right. So I'm a non-vegetarian, and I don't take any protein powder, no supplements. Yeah, I just eat whatever we cook at home. That's it.
No facade over, these fancy foods, millets or bajra.
So yeah, so I do watch out my food. Yeah, for sure. Like I don't eat too fried or oily food. Like I don't eat often. Like that's it. I but I eat the normal food. But we make the rice, dal, sabji. Yeah.
All right. Then, Bindu, okay, let's come back to now you're a woman. That is as much as we say women and men are same, the truth is, as women, do you feel insecure while running sometimes during the darker hours? Do you run during the darker hours? Or what challenges have you faced as a woman?
So I don't feel any insecure as such. Like, yes, I'm sometimes I'm scared. Yeah, I look at everyone with that, that fearful, what do you say, uh, fear,
Suspicious eye also
yeah,
sometimes. I think
suspicious
we
eye.
try
Yeah, that
to
is the right
judge.
word to say. Yeah, that's the right word to say. Yeah, suspicious eye. That is how it is. The society is like that. You cannot change much. So yeah, what to do? I don't know.
Mhm. So, Bindu,
I
one
don't
thing,
want to make a hue and cry about it. Basically, I don't want to make a hue and cry about it.
Bindu,
You have
where
to be
there
careful,
are
right?
bad people, there are good people also, right? While, there are people who are like that, we also meet a lot of nice people as well. Correct.
Sure, it is not about good or bad. It is about running alone in the dark.
Yeah, correct.
So, running alone in the dark, you are asking me whether it is safe or not, and I would say it is not safe.
Mhm.
Definitely it is not safe. So
Mhm.
you have to try to minimize the risk. That
Mhm.
is from your end. You have to take care of yourself. You should
Mhm.
you understood what I'm saying. So you
Mhm.
just cannot men and women, both of we all are equal, and you cannot say the dialogue and go out and run. Okay, so you
Yeah.
have to be very careful. Yeah, you have to be careful,
Mhm.
or you should have a running buddy whom you
Mhm.
can trust, and go and run along with that person. That's okay, absolutely fine.
So, Bindu, I want to ask you that thing as well. Now, because you've done multiple longer distances, 12 hours, 24 hours, and so, for that, you must have to train and get up early and train during the darker hours. Did you used to have any company of any male members, or how did you manage running at the darker hours?
So I usually don't wait for anyone. So what I do is I start the run in my apartment itself. Where I stay. We have a 400 meter, the pavement, so where I can run. So I do my running there till 5 o'clock. Once it is five, yeah. So I feel it's quite safe. Then I go out and I run a place where there are people around. I don't go to a place where I feel there's a danger or. have to be
Mhm.
careful or something like that, Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if I may ask you, because you said that your apartment is around approximately the distance is 400 meters, and I think
Yeah,
it must
right.
be a loop, right?
Yes, one loop.
One loop, 400 meters. So
Yeah,
how long have you run? What is the maximum time that you've run that 400-meter loop?
probably 3 hours, 4 hours. Like depends. Like supposing if I have to do a 6 hour run, so I will start at as early as 3 o'clock. So three to six I run in my apartment, then I go out.
And when you are saying it as if it's just a matter of fact, what a big deal. But I'm just trying to remind you, it is bigger deal for a lot of other people.
The point is, you have to do it. Then you will have to do it. That's it.
Right. Absolutely. I
You
can
have to do.
understand that, but I still would say hats off to you. It's not easy to run in a 400-meter loop for probably 3-4 hours. The boredom also comes into picture. You have to manage a lot of things, right?
So that's because when you know your limitations, first thing is accept that limitations. Okay, instead of
Mhm.
cribbing and crying over it, just accept it. This is how it is.
Mhm.
Then move forward. That's what I always say.
Mhm, mhm. I think Bindu, that's a very beautiful thing that you've said. Most of the people just limit themselves at cribbing, but I think once you accept it, I think yeah, rightly said. Okay, Bindu, coming to now, when it comes to the female hygiene part. First of all, my question would be: do you use tampons or pads or menstrual cups during your periods?
One event that is 24-hour event, I used tampons, and after 6 hours, I wanted to change. So that's where the problem started. Like, I didn't have a proper washroom, no clean water. And you know what I'm saying. Like, then it is so difficult for us to change. Yeah. So, yeah, that need to, I don't know how to uh, take care of that part. But then I decided to take wear normal pad and run. But then you will get rashes. If you wear a normal pad, then you will end up with a lot of rashes and pain. But what to do? Like yeah.
Okay. But Bindu, so when it is your practice run, at that time also you use pads?
Yeah, practice runs I use tampons or I use cup. That is because you can change. Like
Okay.
but when
Mm-hmm.
events, it is very, very difficult because we don't have clean washrooms, we don't have clean water, and you are sweaty, and you know that your hands are not, it's all dirty. So I mean,
That's, I think, one reason that's I run away from these big events where there's huge crowd. Because of
um,
the washroom. It's
sometimes,
hard.
yeah, you're so right. Sometimes you cannot even get into the washroom. You feel like puking, like
Yeah.
yeah.
So moving on to the second last question, Bindu. What's next? What's your goal moving forward? Would you like to share?
Um, Not right now.
Okay.
I have
Well, what
something in
else?
my mind. I have something in my mind. I'm training for it. But then I don't want to disclose it right now. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just my fingers crossed, and let's see. Like I'm just praying to God, like everything should, go smoothly. Let's see.
Mhm. Sure. I mean, then lastly, let's wind up by what you have to, any message that you have for women or anyone for that matter who's probably listening to you.
Yeah, wait. I wrote something for them. Wait. Hey there. Just wanted to share some positive vibes with you all. So supposing if you have just started training, or uh, you have not found your group yet, still I would like to remind you all that, every small step counts. Take it one day at a time, and find activities really enjoy. And fitness is not for only athletes, it's for everyone. Okay, so I want you all to start giving some time for your fitness and your health, uh, and last but not the least, your health should be your priority. Yeah, yeah. And you have got this, can do this. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think and that's a beautiful note. Fitness is a very personal journey. And thank you so much, Bindu. It was lovely, lovely talking to you. And thank you so much for being there. I had a good time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Meenal. And it's my pleasure. Yeah, thank you.